Hello, everyone. Let's see, is everyone in here? All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the first Advisor Roundtable of the year. My name is Taylor DeSico, and I'm serving as the 24 to 25 Circle K International President. I'm a second year MBA student at the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, and it is my fifth year in Circle K. Madison and staff, if y'all would like to introduce yourselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Madison Burt, and I'm the CKI Vice President for this year. I attend the University of Florida, where I'm studying industrial and systems engineering, and this is my fourth year in CKI.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sam Wagner, and I am the Circle K International Program Specialist.
And hi, everybody. I'm Josh Dotson. I'm the CKI manager or director, depending on what you're looking at. But it's nice to see you all. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, so thank you all so much for coming tonight. So how tonight is going to work is we're going to give a couple of updates and then go into a roundtable discussion. So just ask you all some questions, just kind of share some insights with one another. So if you have any questions throughout, just please let me know. We can go to the next slide, please. So first thing we want to talk about is some resources. So first is the Membership Update Center, or the MUC. So your club presidents, your secretaries, and treasurers should all have access to this. If you're having problems, please contact member services for support via phone or email, but particularly email would be better. The early dues deadline this year is November 1st, just like last year, and the regular dues deadline is December 1st. So really recommend you get those dues in by November 1 to not only be put into a raffle to win a pizza party, but also to really give yourself that month buffer in case something goes wrong with paying dues. And then, of course, the international website, so circlek.org. If you go to the resources tab, when you go to circlek.org, at the very top, there's a resources tab. If you click on that, you'll have Madison will be dropping links in the chat throughout this whole call, by the way. So every time I say something, she'll probably drop a link. So thank you, Madison. But yeah, if you go to that resources tab at the very top, it's towards the middle of the page, and you go, I think it's on the bottom right of the 6 types of resources. It says advisors. Those are resources for you all. So definitely take advantage of those. And then, of course, the search bar is a great tool as well on the resources tab too. So if you have some keywords that you'd like to type in, some resources that you'd like to find, you can always search those as well. Any questions on the resources? Okay. Next slide. All right, so some general announcements. First, at House of Delegates this past icon, there was an international dues increase. So before, international dues were $24 per member. They are now $32 per member for this year. So what happened is it's a $20 increase over 3 years. So it's in increments of $8, $4, and $8 increases. And so this year, dues is increasing by $8. So instead of $24, international dues per member this year are $32. Any questions on dues for now? Okay. The brick by brick. Also, I meant to mention it is really critical more than ever to really be advertising the benefits of being a member in CKI, what value we offer to our members. Reach out to sponsoring Kiwanis clubs for support. Make sure you're fundraising for dues at the club level if your club allows it. And of course, reach out to campus student government organizations for support as well. So anything we can be doing to help our members get those dues in, we should be doing. Next is our brick by brick service initiative. So last year we raised just over 76,000 US dollars, which is amazing. So let's do our best this year to reach our $100,000 mark this service year. That is our goal. And then next is the Alumni Network Mentorship Program. So this is actually a relatively new program that was just launched this fall. This program allows for CKI members to sign up as mentees and allow them to connect with CKI alumni who have registered as mentors. And so their options to choose from depend on like which mentors they can choose from, depend on their interests, their academic backgrounds, what they're looking for in a mentor, et cetera. And so this is definitely a great program that I've signed up for myself. I haven't picked my mentors yet, but to put into perspective, basically I signed up and I said, okay, this is my academic background. These are my interests. And then you also say as a mentee, I would like some support with resume building or career guidance, or I need help prepping for an interview. And so they will tailor your options to what you're looking for as a student. So it's a really good resource. Highly recommend you take advantage of that. Next is the first year ambassador program. So this is a great way to get first year members involved in leadership immediately. This is an initiative that we started last year and we're continuing into the future. So as a first year ambassador, their role ultimately in that position is to recruit and retain members of their class and to spread word about CKI across their campuses. So this is a great way. If you see an emerging leader in your club or someone who has a lot of potential, recommend that your club implements the first year ambassador program and have them step into that role. This is a great way for us to have those leaders emerging throughout each position year over year. And then next is our goals. So currently we're sitting at a little over 6,000 members. I think it's 6,171 as of this past week. So our goal this year is to have 7,500 members. And then our service hour goal is 100,000 service hours over the course of this service year. Next is International Convention. So the best event of the year, join us in Pittsburgh from June 25th through the 27th, which is a Wednesday through a Friday of next year, 2025, for some days full of fun, networking, and learning. Early registration cost is $275 per attendee, and the regular registration cost, Josh or Sam, if you can confirm this, I believe is $325 per attendee. So is that correct, Josh?
Yep. Regular is 325. Yep. And that all that stuff is going to be on the website pretty soon. So we're going to have a lot of information earlier than in years past, probably around the middle of October. But we'll make some more announcements. So if you're on our mailing newsletter for email, look out for that because we'll make an announcement as soon as everything is on that. And I see, can you please repeat the early registration rate? That's 275. It's the same as last year. So it's 275 for early registration, and then regular registration is 325.
Yes, thank you, Josh. So yeah, just go ahead, start thinking of ways to help your members prepare to attend the convention. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've gone to a couple now, and I am extremely excited. I'm sure, Madison, you're really excited as well. It's going to be a great time, so highly recommend. Let's see what we have in the chat. So there will be a date for the early registration that will be on the website, and then there will be like a regular registration deadline. And so if you pay by that early deadline, you'll get that 275 rate as opposed to the 325 rate. Okay, thank you, Josh. All right, so last thing on this slide is the SLP Advisor 101 training access. That is coming soon. So this training for the service leadership programs advisors is a great online course to help familiarize you all with Kiwanis SLPs. So that will be coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. Any questions about the announcements for now? Okay, all right. Next slide. Okay, so we're going to talk about the GLC, or the Global Leadership Certificate. So CKI members can earn this certificate by completing a series of 40 courses. I think there used to be 38, 39, and we just added a couple more. And so members have to log in with their MUC login to access this. So they have to be a dues paid member to access the GLC. This is a great member benefit that we offer. So really encourage you to encourage those members to take advantage of this member benefit. So topics of the courses range from building meaningful relationships to conflict management to cultural understanding and to being an agent of change and so much more. This certificate not only allows members to stand out to graduate programs and employers, but it also equips students with the skills and knowledge needed to be strong and effective and resilient leaders. So we really want our members to get creative when completing the GLC. So you can do these in a number of ways. So you can like have this as part of a club meeting. You guys can do it together. There's actually a lot of activities in the certificate training that actually encourage you to do it with a group of people. And so you can do it in club meetings. You can do it as part of a leadership position training. So once the club elects new officers every year, they can pick out maybe 6 or 7 of the courses and say, hey, I think this would be helpful if our incoming leaders learn about conflict management or being an agent of change or effective leadership or those types of topics. And then, of course, you can use it to create a strategic plan for the club as well. So like I mentioned, some of the exercises and assessments do encourage members to complete them with other members. So definitely take advantage of that. I personally have done the GLC. Madison, I know, has done the GLC. And so it's great. Highly recommend it. I learned a lot and I feel like I was really able to expand my leadership skills because of the GLC. And just the amount of knowledge I have on leadership now has just expanded substantially because of the GLC. So great member benefit. Highly recommend you encourage your members to partake in this. Any questions on the GLC? Okay. All right, last slide before our roundtable discussion. So looking at some important dates, first is October. So starting tomorrow through the very end of October, the entire month of October is our Trick or Treat for UNICEF campaign. So it is a month-long campaign dedicated to raising funds for Brick by Brick. So you really want to get creative with how your clubs plan to fundraise during this month. So you can even get the donation boxes online. They're free. They're really cute. They're like little boxes, like little UNICEF Brick by Brick boxes that people can put money into. So definitely get a pack of those. I think they come in a pack of 25. You can get a pack of those for your club. Highly recommend that. So question for you all? What are your clubs doing to fundraise for Brick by Brick in October? What plans do y'all have for this next month for Brick by Brick? Any plans? Are y'all going like door to door asking for funds? Are we doing like just a generic fundraiser? What are we looking into? Or any ideas that y'all have for one another?
So one thing that our club at Bowling Green State University does is we print off the logos for Trick or Treat for UNICEF, wrap around some cans, and we put them out at the Kiwanis meeting at each one of the tables. And then some of the students come and talk about what they're there for, and that is kind of along the lines of trick or treating for the Kiwanians, but essentially it's at a meeting. And so we did this last year, and we raised about $150 just by asking for some dollar bills and some spare change. So I think that worked out really well. And then obviously the trick or treating for UNICEF, the group really liked doing that, especially when they got to go to a Kiwanian's house and then interact with them in costume and all of that. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea. Thank you so much for sharing, Jason. What else we got?
Something that my CKI club does is at the end of every meeting, especially during the month of October, is when we really try to put a huge emphasis on it, is we do happy cents. So we pass around a piggy bank and we have all of our members say something that they're happy for, and they donate $1 and all of that money goes towards Brick by Brick. And then we'll also do this at the Kiwanis meetings that we attend as well to have all of the Kiwanis members also participate in happy cents with us.
Awesome. Thank you, Madison.
Our group also did a fall bake sale. So we got together for like a social activity, did some baked goods, and then pre-approved, set up a table on campus, and then we're able to sell those baked goods on campus.
I love a good bake sale.
Right.
I like, especially with college students, anytime you can associate food into a fundraiser or like a meeting or an event, always do that because college students love food. So, anyone else? Okay, well, we'll move right along. Yes, thank you, Josh. If you check out the chat, um, we will be having a blog post coming out pretty soon, written by our Brick by Brick committee. So definitely be on the lookout for that on our news part of our website. But anyone else before we move along?
CKI is also partnering with K-Kids to fundraise for Brick by Brick. So this is a great way for you to be able to have your CKI clubs work with local K-Kids clubs to help them also fundraise and donate money to Brick by Brick.
Yes, thank you, Madison. All right, so let's move along. October 7th through the 11th is Kiwanis Youth Protection Week. So each year, Kiwanis dedicates 1 week to youth protection efforts. And during this week, we just really encourage you to take the time to encourage Kiwanians to train on youth protection. Coming up very soon, a very fast approaching date is CKI Week. So this is, sorry, give me 1 second. So CKI Week is October 14th through the 19th. Sorry?
Hi.
Hi.
I've been having trouble. Wi-Fi is not very good right now. The High Point University raised $30,775 for Brick by Brick on Saturday night.
That's amazing. I love that. That's so exciting. I was getting a lot of pictures.
And I don't
from
think
that
we're going to
board.
trick or treat for UNICEF.
Yes. Well, congratulations to High Point. That is so exciting. I was getting lots of pictures from members of our international board and from Cameron. It looked so fun and so exciting. So congratulations to them for raising that much money. That is a lot of money. So that's great to hear. So going back to CKI week, that is October 14th through the 19th. That is a Monday through a Saturday. This is a great way for us to be celebrating and promoting CKI throughout that entire week. And so each day has a different theme dedicated to something different. So I think Monday is like choose CKI. It's all about why you chose CKI. Tuesday is like around the world. So thinking about like cultural understanding and just networking through the generations, through the entire world. And then there's also like a random acts of kindness day where you can maybe do like paint some kindness rocks and put them around campus. So there's lots of ideas and opportunities for CKI week if you visit our website that talks more about what each day is for CKI week. So I just highly recommend that you're encouraging your members to participate as clubs and as individuals throughout that week. And of course, hashtag choose CKI, hashtag CKI week all over Instagram and our socials. Please be participating in that as well. Next, our Tomorrow Fun applications will be open from October 1st through December 1st. So they literally open up tomorrow. So if your club has a service project that they need to have funded, they can apply and be considered for funding for a grant that ranges from 200 to 2,000 US dollars. So this is a great way to get a project funded if you need some financial assistance with that. So it'll be open for about 2 months. And then next are the Kiwanis Children's Fund or KCF scholarships. They will open a month from tomorrow on November 1st and close February 1st. So they're open for quite a while, but go ahead, start letting your members know now about this scholarship application process. The fact that it's a really great member benefit. A lot of our members love this member benefit. So we really want our members taking advantage of this. But that does open November 1. So go ahead and get them prepared to start applying for these scholarship applications. And then lastly is our next advisor roundtable. So the other call, just like this, will be Monday, January 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Any questions about important dates or anything else that we've discussed before we go into the roundtable discussion portion of the call? Okay. And Madison's been putting a lot of good stuff in the chat. So if you have any questions on that as well, just let us know. You can type in the chat or unmute yourself. All right. So going into some questions, I've got about 6 for us tonight. First question is, what can CKI do better to help support you in your roles as advisors? So how can we better support you all? you want to move on to the next question and maybe come back to this one?
Hey, Taylor, my name is Mike Lewis. I'm the CKI advisor to the College of William and Mary Go Tribe CKI Club. I'm new to being an advisor on my own this year. Last year, I had the benefit of being asked by the past advisor who did it for 27 years. So I was kind of spoiled with that. I'm spoiled by my club. I have a very good relationship with the executive committee. I go to their EC meetings on Sunday nights, although they are at 8 o'clock at night. And I'm not young, but it's
Oh my
all about
goodness.
them. Yeah, and works well for them. So we just have really good communication. I'm included in the EC chats, and I'm included in the emails, which has the agenda for each meeting, EC meeting on Sunday nights, but then also included in on what they're using a PowerPoint presentation each week to run the meetings, which works very well. Starting to get a lot of feedback, and I'm also supported by Katie Dugan Vargas, who is the
She's great.
but
She's great.
yeah, but I'm also spoiled in that the current Capital District CKI Governor, Abigail Bennett, is in the William and Mary Club. And she told me
Oh,
to tell
okay.
you
So
hello.
she's from your club.
Yeah, she is.
She's
Yeah,
amazing too. Yes.
she is. She is. So the one thing I could say for other Kiwanis advisors, and even if there's any faculty advisors, I also have a very good relationship with the William and Mary CKI faculty advisor, because she happens to be in our club as well. Is just it's a two-way street. You've got to be engaged. You've got to be engaged with the CKI club and their executive committee if you're going to get back. So that's what I wanted to contribute. There's not a whole lot else that CKI can provide to me, because I'm getting the support I need to be effective in my job as an advisor.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Mike. I appreciate it. And I'm glad that you have all that support there for you. So got some great people on your side.
And I have a great club that's asked me to step in.
Absolutely. All right. Any other ideas?
So I'll make a comment, and some of the staff may not like this, but I'm only a Kiwanis governor for a few more hours, so I can get away with it. But I think reaching out more to the Kiwanis governors and letting them know what is going on with this kind of stuff. Like, this is great that we have an advisor roundtable, but look at how few advisors are on here. So why not invite some of the Kiwanis governors as well, so that they could be part of knowing what is happening. I'm very fortunate, having been in Circle K, that I know what's going on and kind of the gist of things. But I think thinking bigger, and how do we incorporate that information and getting it out to Kiwanis governors. And certainly if there's a way to, and I know there is, but emailing Kiwanis governors the slide deck or the important dates to make sure that it's part of their communication, so that way they're aware of what's going on as well. Because certainly I think there are some Kiwanis governors who might not know what Circle K is, let alone what they can do to support it in their district. And instead, it should go beyond just saying, hey, we have a district administrator, let them do it. But what is that Kiwanis governor doing to make Circle K a priority?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing. We'll definitely take back that idea to the board. We really appreciate everything that Kiwanis governors do to support CKI. So thank you for sharing, Jason.
Taylor, my name is Gina Delisle. I'm from the New England and Bermuda district of Kiwanis, and I just want to echo what Jason said, because I am also the New England K-Kids and Builders Club administrator. And I will tell you that on those meetings, I am lucky if I can count how many people attend on a hand. And it is kind of discouraging that more people are not taking advantage of these things. But I mean, I know there are a lot of, faculty advisors in the whole country. And yet when I go on those meetings, as Jason is saying, there is nobody on those meetings. So we have all this information that's available that nobody is getting. So I like his idea of getting in touch with governors or other people also.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. We also do have monthly meetings with the CKI governors. We'll definitely look into like with the Kiwanis governors, but I do want to mention that we do have our trustees have monthly one-on-ones with the CKI governors, and that's one of the best ways we do get out our information and how we're able to communicate our information as well. But thank you all so much for sharing your insights. Yes, Linda.
So I was going to suggest, I know in the past in working with CKI and working with the staff and working with some of the past international presidents, sometimes they're hesitant to send out all of the SLP emails and all of that information out to all of the governors because of the magnitude of emails that the governors get from all the different service areas of Kiwanis International too. So for us who are advisors or past governors or any of those positions that have access to communication streams within our own districts, if we can share out as much of this as we can, then perhaps we can impact the knowledge level in our own districts.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Linda. All right. So let's move along to the, oh, sorry, go ahead, Josh.
I would just add to that. Thanks for that, Linda. I would just add to that the district administrators are appointed by the governor, and their primary role is to bridge that gap between the governor and CKI. And so, really, we're working within the framework of what Kiwanis wants. And so there are some governors that are on our mailing list, I think, but I could probably count on one hand how many governors actually want to be on that mailing list, to Linda's point. I mean, the district administrators are really appointed for that sole purpose of bridging that gap with Kiwanis. Whether we're succeeding 100% of the time or not, that's a different question, but it's by design within KI. So if your KI governor wants to be more involved with CKI, absolutely reach out to us. We can help. Taylor's very involved with talking to the SLP committee this year, which is something that we're really trying to bridge some gaps between Kiwanis and CKI currently, but we're still also respecting the boundaries of different districts because different districts have different needs and different leaders and all of those things. So there isn't like necessarily a one rule to rule them all, so to speak. But just trying to keep that in mind as well. If you ever have any need for information or anything like that, feel free to reach out and we can help you out.
Thank you, Josh. And also, if you're not receiving the monthly like advisor update emails from International, please go ahead and just drop your name and email address in the chat. And that way we can make sure you're on that email list as well. So next question, what is one thing you think that your club does very well? So what is something that you're proud of your club for and that you can share with other advisors on the call? Anyone want to share? Does anyone's club have like signature service projects that they do every year? Or...
So I'll go again. One of the things that the CKI Club does at the end of April, in conjunction with the William and Mary baseball team, is they have a function called Souls, which is Strikeout ALS. This started many years ago. One of the founding members of the Kiwanis Club of Williamsburg was stricken with ALS and passed from it. In about 12, 13 years ago, his family was in touch with one of our club members, and right around the same time, the year before, I think she was the vice president of the club of CKI, her grandfather passed from ALS. And she said, hey, I want to do something to raise funds for ALS. And then all of a sudden, CKI was aligned with the family, and it's grown every year. In this past year, the club was responsible for raising over $40,000 that was donated to the ALS Foundation. And the ALS Major Gifts director, who I guess is no longer there, actually came to the game and accepted the money. So that was a pretty cool thing to work with them on.
Absolutely. And $40,000, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing.
Yeah.
What else does your clubs do well?
Okay, I'll go again. One of the other things that they did recently, the EC decided, what can we do to help promote membership? So they decided to have a bake sale one Monday in the student center, and different levels of, you could either get $1 off, $2 off, or you can get them for free if you not only signed up for, gave your address or email address, but joined their GroupMe chat and also Instagram. And they ended up with about 20 members, 20 addresses and whatnot. And I think they've ended up with at least 3 prospective members as a result of that. One of the other things that they're doing this year, I guess it's kind of been resurrected, is I had asked a question back in the winter about, because my kick-it partner happens to be very big in her sorority, and I asked, have you guys ever done like a Big Little program? And that's actually being implemented right now to try to help drive that membership, get the new members, underclassmen involved with the upperclassmen, to try to just solidify those relationships and make people want to stay in the club. But they're also very good at working with our Kiwanis Club, and it's a two-way street on service projects. A couple of weeks ago, our club had our big fundraiser of the year, which is a shrimp feast. And out of the 150 or 200 volunteers, 15 of them were from the CKI club. There's already a number of members who have already exceeded their required service hours for the semester. Just they're very engaged and they enjoy it and they enjoy being together.
That's great.
One thing they're really good at is engagement.
For sure. And that's one thing that I feel like I even try to work on in my own home club is just engagement. How do we get our members engaged and enjoying the organization and remembering like why we're here in the first place, remembering our why and making sure that we're always focusing on serving with those friends that we make in CKI. So thank you so much for sharing. All right. Anyone else before we move on to the next question? Okay. So do you have any advice for other advisors that you would like to share? So any advice you have to give other advisors on the call tonight? Also, it looks like Sam sent a link to the Facebook group chat that you all can join for updates and information as well. Thank you, Sam.
This is Linda. I think one of the pieces of advice for all of us is to be present and obvious with our clubs so they know we're there, and work, if we're a Kiwanis Club advisor, work to link the two together, the CKI and the Kiwanis Club, as well as any other SLP programs that you have. If you have a Key Club, if you have a Builders or a K Kids, then link Circle K to those as well. Give them an opportunity to work together. Oftentimes the reports are asking if those groups are working together on projects, and the students really do enjoy the opportunity to work with the Kiwanis Club. One of the things that I always encourage and caution is not just to, as a Kiwanis Club advisor, not just to use CKI as strong backs or carry the physical load part of the projects, but include them in planning of projects, in ideating, in coming up with some of the plans and working together in that way. Both groups will grow a great deal when they share in that way. And I really encourage that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Linda. That is so important to have those connections, and networking through the generations and through everyone from around the world is so important as well, and something that we should all definitely be taking advantage of. So thank you, Linda. What other advice do you all have?
Engagement. You got to be engaged with the whole club, not just the executive committee if you go into their meetings. One of the things that Tom before me and I, when we're at their weekly general body meetings, is engage with the new members, engage with the regular body members, just so that they know that we as a Kiwanis Club are there to support them. We had Kiwanis had a road cleanup on this past Saturday, and we had Key Club, CKI, and Kiwanians working all together to clean up a road. So it's got to they got to know that you're there to help them and support them, and and you're not just sitting in the corner.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike. It looks like we have a question in the chat. What is your minimum number of required service hours per member? I can tell you, I'm not an advisor, but for anyone else, I can tell you my club is 25 hours a semester per member requirement. But I don't know, what else, what other hour requirements do y'all have?
My CKI club does not have a requirement, but we strongly encourage all of our members to get 15 hours per semester.
So raise your hand if your club has a service hour requirement. Okay, so not many of you. Okay. Mike, you're muted. There you go.
Sorry, William and Mary does 10.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
Per semester.
My Circle K Club doesn't have a number of hours, but Elmira College has a 60-hour community service requirement to graduate. So they have to do that within their first 2 years. So
I love to hear that.
And they can use Circle K to fulfill that requirement.
Absolutely. That's a great recruitment tool for sure. Thank you, Allison. Okay, so some people don't have them as long as they're showing up for what they sign up for. Got it. All right. Any other advice for each other? What works well for you? What's maybe not working well for you? What insights can you provide to other advisors? Any lessons learned?
One thing that I've seen, not with my Circle K club, but in the district, is succession planning. So making sure that not only the district boards, but the clubs have kind of maybe scoped out potential officers for the next year, or like trying to encourage people throughout the year to like take on small leadership roles, like planning a project or something, and then hopefully they would be more comfortable stepping up into a leadership position in the following year. At least in Pennsylvania, I saw two advisors on here from Pennsylvania, and I think they've seen it too, where they have repeat officers, and sometimes they can burn out. So like they're president for like 3 years, and then after they graduate, no one is able to kind of fill those shoes because they don't know what the president does, or they don't feel capable enough to do what the president did because the president was doing it for such a long time. They made it look really easy or anything like that. So I think making sure that the club is always kind of planning ahead for the next year, even if the officers won't be there, will be graduated and gone, kind of planning ahead in that way.
Yeah, absolutely, Brett. It's so important. And I don't know if any of you know Peck Fox. He's my DA. He used to always tell me when I was serving at the district level, he said, your number one job as a leader is to find a successor sooner rather than later. So that is so important. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Um, Anyone else? So since we're talking a little bit about succession planning, my next question, it shifts pretty well. How do you encourage the members in your clubs to grow as leaders? So how do we encourage them to run for those higher level positions? So how are we motivating and encouraging our members to run for positions?
I just ask.
How so?
So there was someone that was in my Circle K club that I thought would have been a good district officer, and I just asked him if that was something he would be interested in, and he was interested in it, but his schedule just didn't permit for it, so he wasn't able to go forward. But
Thank you, Brett. I think even as students, I mean, Madison, you can attest to this too, but I think even as students, when we see emerging leaders and people with potential, I think we're always like, hey, you should run for this or you should apply for that. I think, Madison, you might have some experience with that as governor as well last year, but for sure, it is so important that when you see somebody with potential or with motivation or passion for serving their community and for this organization, that you tell them, hey, I see your hard work and I see what you're doing, and I think you should go higher and do something with that, you know?
And similar to that, I had one of the Kiwanis Advisors when I was in Key Club who was really a huge inspiration to me. She saw the potential within me, and she pulled me aside after one of our club meetings and said, I could see you one day being one of the leaders of this club. And just that motivation from my Kiwanis Advisor really inspired me and pushed me along this path of leadership.
Thank you, Madison. Okay, so we have a chat. Great leadership training. That is important too. Sending as many people to district events. Yes, because that really exposes them. Madison's like, oh yeah. Yeah, Madison can attest to this too. Madison, do you want to talk about this a little bit? Like how like bringing people to district events can really encourage them to run for district level positions and whatnot?
Yes, I think that district events are such a great way for your CKI members to get to learn so much more about CKI, and it really lights the CKI fire within them, and it makes them so excited to go back to their clubs and work on starting up new service projects and really work on trying to recruit new members, as well as it really encourages all of the members who are attending to see the potential in different CKI leadership roles, whether that's on the club, the district, or the international level. So definitely by having your members attend fall events is a great way for them to feel the passion and to feel re-energized to grow CKI on their home clubs as well as develop as leaders in the organization.
Any other ideas on how to encourage the members of your clubs to grow in leadership?
One of the things that William and Mary does that they're very good at is for all the different initiatives that they have project heads, and they really try to encourage as many different people as possible to be project heads. Then those can feed into then their auxiliary board, which they have, which would be like the social media chair and the membership chair, things like that. And then the goal is to try to get them to then feed into the officer positions. This year, it's one of the things I'm already starting to think about because 5 of the executive committee are seniors and they're going to be graduating. So I'm already starting to talk to talk with them about, you have to start thinking about who do you want to have in these positions next year? Who are you earmarking? Because then you also have, you have the other issue. I know that at least two of the kids are going to be doing study abroads. So for them to potentially be in an officer position is kind of difficult. All right, to go to the next level, identify who you think would be good coming up through the ranks.
Right, absolutely. And I always like to say that one of your biggest jobs as a leader too is not only to find a successor, but to make sure that they're well equipped to do better than you did in that position. So that's really important too, is not only encouraging these people to, succeed to a position, but also to make sure that they have the support and guidance that they need from you all as advisors to do well in those roles. All right, so move along to the next question. What are you all doing to support your clubs in collecting and paying dues? So what are we doing to help our members here? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm fairly new with this, so I'm basically taking a lot of this in. The one club that I am an advisor for has not asked for any help, but the other club that I am also an advisor for set forth in writing a letter asking if the Kiwanis Club would be able to help them out. And then what we did is we brought it before our board, and our board then voted on how much we would be able to help them. So it's kind of like one club has asked for help and another hasn't. So we just brought it before our board to see if they would help out with the one club, and they are going to do it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes, so our CKI club did it the same. They requested support from their supporting Kiwanis Club, and the Kiwanis agreed to pay 50% of their dues. That way it still left some ownership and responsibility with the club, but recognizing that it's a significant amount compared to previously, they're helping them. The Kiwanis Club also helps with the additional support when the club asks them for it, for special events or special needs. For instance, the CKI club is celebrating 40 years this month, and there's going to be a party celebration, and the Kiwanis Club is helping with some of the expenses of putting on that event.
Thank you, Linda.
We help with the international dues, but they are on their own for their district dues. And this has been a long time relationship. William and Mary was chartered in 1957. So my club's been supporting that club for a really long time. And it's at this point, it's kind of a no-brainer. A little bit more challenging this year because of the dues increase. We'll have to see what happens in the next couple of years with the additional increases. But at least for this year, we're helping them with the international dues. But we also set aside money to help them go to decon. We don't pay for the whole thing. They are on their own so that they have some skin in the game. But there's money available to them to use. They, as a club, CKI decided not to use any of it to help for membership rally, but rather to save money for decon and spring officer training. So we help them offset those costs.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I do want to bring up sponsorships are a really cool idea too. So this can apply at the district level, but also at a club level. So anytime, like, let's say you have an event going on, or even thinking about like my home club. So we'll like go on the quad and we'll sell like a little grass area, and we'll sell like Subway sandwiches and donuts to fundraise for dues. And we actually have our local businesses that will donate. So like Jimmy John's or Subway will actually donate these subs to us so we can fundraise with them. So that's really cool too. Or like if you ever have an event where like you want food, so like maybe like an ice cream social or something, maybe like Publix does $100 gift card donations. You just have to apply like I think 2 months in advance online. They have an online application process. So or a lot of pizza places like Domino's is notorious for donating. Like they do a great job of that as well, at least here in Alabama. And so I think anything you can do to offset costs that are associated with club events can help the club pay for those international member dues if they're willing to do that. So I know like my home club, our Kiwanis club will give us a couple $100 every year to go towards dues. And then my home club will also pay out of our budget for a portion of the dues for international dues for members. And then everything else we try to fundraise to help offset that cost.
And to go off of Taylor's point, a lot of things that my club does is we're really big on fundraising. And so my club fundraises a lot on our own to try to help cover some of our dues costs. But our Kiwanis Club is very generous with helping us with this. One of the fundraisers that my school does is we're a very big football school. So before all of the big football and different sporting events, we'll set up a face painting table outside the stadium. And our Kiwanis Club will help encourage people that they know who are attending the sporting event to come to our table and to get their face painted. So that's one of the great ways is we have a great partnership with Kiwanis where they really work on helping promote all of my CKI club's fundraising opportunities and events as well.
Thank you, Madison. All right, so we're coming close to the end of the call. Are there any other questions about anything that we've discussed tonight or any questions that y'all have in general? Anything you'd like to share? No? Okay. Well, I do want to mention in terms to the people who sent your email in the chat, always check your spam folder to see if there's any messages from CKI, those advisor monthly update emails. Check your spam or junk folder, see if they're in there. If they're not in there, then you'll need to send your contact information to memberservices@kiwanis.org. Madison, if you could put that in the chat one more time for me, please. You really want to ensure that you're listed as a club advisor in the Kiwanis one.org website. So that's how you'll get the CKI emails. You have to be listed as an actual advisor in the roster in the MUC to get those emails. So any questions on that? Or questions in general? Yes, thank you, Sam. Don't unsubscribe from any Kiwanis emails. That'll cancel us out right there.
And kind of in addition to that, the CK office the staff don't know who's new for an advisor at that level. We aren't notified when that is changed in the system. And our comms team, when newsletters are sent out, they pull it straight from our system, which is called Personify. And if your email isn't listed in the system as an advisor, if you're not checked in to all emails, then you won't get those CKI emails. So the first step is really to make sure that you check your spam folders. And the second step is to see if you're listed in the MUC as an advisor for the club that you're advising. If you're not, that's when you should reach out to memberservices@kiwanis.org. In addition to that, because we don't know when an advisor switches over to a new advisor, and that happens for, we have 314 clubs, I think, maybe 17 clubs. We've had a few new charters and reactivations in the last few weeks. If we have 317 advisors and a third of them switch over each year, I don't know what the statistics are, but we don't know that. And so as an advisor, please help the transition a little bit and have your new person reach out to us. You can reach out to me again. I'll put it in the chat again, but it's j.dotson@kiwanis.org. And we have a welcome packet for new charters that are going to be helpful for new advisors in particular. And I can just send you the new advisor information that is generally reserved for new charters, but it has a bunch of links. It has the things that we talked about in this call today. It has the Facebook group. It has support groups. It has the new advisor packet and all of those things in it. But because of the current system, we don't know when you're new unless we're told. it's hard to get those out unless it's a new charter. So if you're new, feel free to reach out and I'll send you that packet as well. But it's going to be easiest if you email me and I can get it to you that way.
Thank you, Josh. All righty. Well, that's going to conclude our first roundtable of the year. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope this was helpful. And as always, reach out. If there's anything we can do to support you, that's what we're here for. Any questions you ever have. And we will see you on January 27th for the next one. Thank you all so much. Have a great night.